You all see my screen, fantastic. So welcome everybody, thank you for joining our webinar, the first in our series of monthly comparisons between NetSuite and Business Central. Today we're looking at the chart of accounts. My name is Adam, a lot of you know me by now from our events and previous webinars. I'm the marketing manager here at Nolan. So to look at the agenda for today, so we will be doing a quick introduction and an introduction to Nolan for those who are less familiar with us. A look at the general reasons of moving from on-premise to the cloud. Then a very quick overview of Business Central and NetSuite before doing a deep dive into both systems, specifically into the chart of accounts today. And we'll wrap up with how to get started with your migration. So who's here today from the Nolan team? So we've got Mark Hennessy. Mark Hennessy is our Managing Director. He's been at Nolan for around 13 years, the last 5 of which he's been the Managing Director. We've got Jason Zimmer. So Jason is an account manager for the GP sites, the Dynamics GP sites we have at Nolan. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with Jason. We've got Gary Hawksford. Gary deals with both new business and helping with that migration journey to the cloud. So that's Gary Hawksford, and myself, Adam, the marketing manager. So who are Nolan then? So we're the UK's only partner for both NetSuite and Business Central. We were founded in 1988, and we've got a rich history in working with Microsoft Dynamics GP. For the last 17 years, we've been migrating businesses from Dynamics GP and other systems to cloud-based ERP systems, firstly with Oracle NetSuite, with the second ever NetSuite partner in the UK, and more recently with Business Central. We also have, we're an ISV, so we also have our own solutions for all of the 3 ERPs mentioned, some of which are automated bank reconciliation and our e-request solution, which I know a few of you on the call today are using, have already been made available for the cloud. So we continue to bring over functionality you might expect from Dynamics GP into these cloud offerings. We've got over 1,300 active customers worldwide, ranging from the UK all the way to North America and to Australia. Some using our products, some full ERP support clients of ours. We've got a lot of qualified technical resource. We've got ranging from qualified accountants to project management teams with their project management certifications. We've got people in our support team that actually worked in Dynamics GP in Fargo in America. So we've got a rich vein of resource at Nolan. We do ERP support and development, as well as consultancy, project management and training. So we have a range of services. And this year we were also voted certified as Great Place to Work again, and have made the list for the best workplaces for development, for women and for tech. So at this point, I believe I'll hand over to Jason Zimmer, who will be talking around businesses moving to the cloud.
Thank you, Adam. So why are companies moving from on-premise to cloud, especially with finance and ERP systems? So I've made a couple of bullet points here just to go through, and these are some of the reasons. Cost efficiency, first of all. Cloud ERPs are typically of lower upfront costs, since they don't require expensive hardware or extensive IT infrastructure. Additionally, ongoing maintenance and updates are handled by the service provider. And then scalability. Cloud ERPs can easily scale your business needs. As your company grows, you can add more users or modules without significant disruptions. Accessibility. With cloud, you can access your data and applications from anywhere with an internet connection. They're all available from a browser. This is particularly beneficial for remote work and global operations. Automatic updates. A lot of you are on GP and will be used to updating every few years to newer versions. That's done automatically in the cloud. Cloud ERP providers regularly update their software, ensuring always have the access to the latest features and security enhancements without the need for manual upgrades. Thanks, Adam. So, improve security. Leading cloud ERP providers invest heavily in security measures, protects your data, often offering better security than many on-premise solutions. That's really the economies of scale. Disaster recovery, cloud ERPs typically include robust disaster recovery options, ensuring your data is backed up and can be quickly restored in case of an emergency. Integration and innovation, cloud ERPs come with the ability to easily integrate with other systems through APIs. And end-of-life systems. So this is very important for the GP community, but also for Navision as well. GP is, as we all know now, coming to end of life. Product support and enhancements end in 2029, with security updates ending in 2031. I believe with Navision that's 2028. So that's a real push for organizations to look at these types of systems from now onwards.
Thank you, Jason. I did forget to mention at the beginning, if you have any questions, we've got the question box. We'll do our best to answer them throughout. And if we don't get round to it, we'll be following up directly with an answer. So just so you know that that's there. And I think, Mark, if you'd like to take over for the quick overview of Business Central and NetSuite, please.
Okay. Thanks, Adam. So as Adam said, we're the only partner that are doing Dynamics 365 Business Central and NetSuite. So we think that gives us a bit of a unique position to be in, whereby we can offer impartial advice on both systems. And if you're coming from GP or from NAV, or particularly from GP, it's not. It's important to, I think, to have a look at what systems are out there and get advice on that. So we like to think we've got that we have got that unique position. So as Adam said, this first sort of monthly series of these webinars, we're going to look a bit deeper into different areas each month. So if you have any ideas, things you want us to look at, then please come forward and ask around those. But obviously today's around chart of accounts. Okay. So this is Business Central. Just super quick overview. So it's really nice looking system, really clean, really user friendly interface. It's familiar. It's Microsoft. People tend to get around it very easily. Obviously, really good integration with the rest of the Microsoft products. So things like Teams and Office. Really great integration with Microsoft 365. Microsoft are really leading the charge around AI in ERP, from what we can see with Copilot. There's lots of talk from Microsoft around Copilot at the moment. They're doing some clever things with that inside the product. And typically there's a lower total cost of ownership with Business Central versus NetSuite, really. So this is NetSuite. Another great system with Oracle behind it. It's the sort of one of the big differentiators is the one world multi-company kind of consolidation module that NetSuite has, and I'll look at some of that stuff when we look at the chart of accounts in a minute. Also has a thing called Suite Success, which is basically pre-configured NetSuite accounts for particular industries. So it just enables us to get people up and running on the suite a lot faster, because a lot of the configuration work has been done across tens of thousands of implementations globally. Includes a CRM system standard. That's just part of the software. So that's one of its differences. And really strong embedded analytics and reporting. You can see in those dashboards on that screenshot, and we'll see more of the financial reports just in a minute. So. Okay. Okay, so just in sort of general, the way Dynamics GP does its sort of structures its charts of accounts is this string, which is broken down into segments. So here we've got division 100, the actual normal code 98765, and then the cost center 234. But it's one string per account, which you'll be familiar with. Both Business Central and NetSuite do it differently. They have a much sort of flatter chart of accounts, and then use dimensions or segments on top of that, so we can maintain a much tighter chart of accounts there. So you have the account, the code for the account, which in this example is 98765, and then division becomes a dimension or a segment. So then you have multiple divisions there, but you maintain just one account and then have an extra reporting code for division, for cost center, and as many as you like, really, over and above that. So it's just a much cleaner, more modern way to manage that, really. But it does mean we've got to be thinking about how do we move your chart of accounts across. So simpler to maintain. It's fewer nominal codes when we're using these dimensions of segments. It's you know, in the old way, if you're using one of your segments as say project, if you added a new project, you'd be able to go and duplicate all your chart of accounts in that area with BC and with NetSuite. You wouldn't need to do that. You would just add that project code in and then better report on that without needing to overinflate the chart of accounts. Both systems will give you kind of real-time P&L balance sheet from that chart of accounts, the subtotals and totaling, and they make use of a kind of a hierarchy through all those reporting codes, the chart and the segments to produce that, really. So it's just getting that set up and configured in the right way within the system that leads to the reporting that you need. Okay. So why did we start with chart accounts? Why did we start thinking about that now? Really, well, you know, I think moving from a legacy system onto a new system is kind of, you're kind of gifted the opportunity for change. Really, it's quite difficult to change your structure, your chart of accounts when you're using the system, you know, in production at the moment. The foundation of the system, they are really the building blocks of any ERP system. So, you know, moving to a new system gives that opportunity to update and change. Yeah, your businesses change over time, but reporting requirements change, and that does require a change in that chart of accounts. And so it's a good time to just be thinking about that. Our customers constantly tell us there's an increasing need for real-time reporting. Things move so fast, we need to get real-time data out. And because of that, I think the more modern systems enable you to default in or automate these postings, default in the correct codes or automate postings. It does lead to better data accuracy, which then leads to better reports, obviously. So, okay, so I'll hand over to Gary to take us through this in Business Central.
Brilliant, thanks, Mark. Let me just get my screen. Right, can you see Business Central? Yeah. So, welcome everybody, and welcome to Business Central. I'm just going to give you a quick orientation of the screen that you're looking at the moment. I'm signed into Business Central with the role of accountant, so everything that I see when I join the dashboard is related to my role. I've got a list of different actions and shortcuts at the top, so I can access my financial statements from here, Excel reports, and carry out various different tasks. I've got a number of tiles down here which give me access key information, and clicking on any of those tiles will take me through to those tasks or transactions. And I can also represent data graphically on the system as well. All of these portlets are completely customizable by the user as well, so I can get it to show me what I want. At the top, I've got a menu bar which takes me to different areas of the system, and then I've also got some shortcuts into different areas of the system that I want access from a dashboard. This morning, we're going to look at chart of accounts, so I'm going to select the shortcut and go into that particular screen. So this is your Business Central chart of accounts. Down the left-hand side, you can see I've got all of my various different accounts there. Take you through some of the columns on the top. I've got those specified as income statement accounts or balance sheet accounts. All of my income statement ones are at the top. If I scroll a little bit further down this list, you'll see that I've got all of my balance sheet accounts a bit further down. Mark mentioned about the categorization of accounts. You can see that on the following two columns. So here I've got an account category. All of the ones you can see on screen at the moment are within the income category. And then if I take these first few accounts here, these sit within a subcategory of product sales, which in income. The other column that I'm going to show you over here is this account type. Mark again alluded to the fact that you can get a much simplified view of your chart of accounts, and this is how the system does it. So to show you this, I'm just going to filter my chart of accounts, and I'm going to just look at the accounts that start with the number 1. So now, rather than that big list, I'm just seeing those income accounts. So if I look at the first account that I've got set up, I've got this set up as a heading account. It purely is there as a heading. It's used to really just sort of segment different accounts that I want to look at the values for. Beneath that, I've got a beginning total account, which is 10,001. which is all of my income accounts. And then beneath that, again, I have a further beginning total account, but this time it's not just looking at the income accounts, it's looking specifically at the product sales accounts as well. I have 3 further posting accounts there for my sale of finished goods, raw materials, and resale of goods. And then I've got my end total, which is then totaling up this subsection that I've got here highlighted. I have sales of resources, additional revenue, jobs and services, revenue reductions, all set up in a similar way. And then down the bottom, I have my total income account, which is the total account type, and that brings all of those numbers together there. I'm going to remove that filter. I show all of the accounts again. So I've shown you how the system is set up. I use the columns to filter those accounts down just. I can also filter using the filter window to the left-hand side. I can access these through the filter button. I can filter my list of accounts. So for argument's sake, if I want to just see reconciliation accounts, I can scroll down. I've just gone past it. There it is. And I can say that I want those that are reconciliation accounts and just see them. Alternatively, I can filter the values. So perhaps I only want to see those within a certain date range. I can date range, enter that, and see just the values of the transactions that fall within that parameter. You'll see here as well that I've also got a number of saved searches which I've done previously, so I can keep those if I wanted easy access to all of my sales transactions. And again, I can click on 2023 and just see all of the numbers that I've got in there. And I think I've overridden that. That should be just showing the 2023 values. It's not, it's showing all of them. My apologies for that. I think I've overridden my save search. But filtering that by dates, obviously I would see the net change value here and the balance value as different values, because obviously in net change I'll only be seeing those that fall within that particular date range that I've selected. So I've looked at sort of drilling down. I've looked at the account categories, etc. And what that gives you is a really simple P&L or balance sheet report that you can get on screen to save you having to print those out and save different ones individually. Mark also mentioned about segments and dimensions earlier on the screens before. Business Central has 2 global dimensions that you can use and sub dimensions as well, so 10 in all, and they all provide you the ability to further analyze. I'll just show you the dimensions and how they're set up. So here I've got 7 dimensions that I've set up in this particular account. One of these is area. So within there, I've set up a load of dimension values as well. When I dive into this, I can see that there are 5 that I've set up: Europe North, EU, Europe North, non-EU, Europe South, America North, and America South. And I've used those beginning totals and end totals that I showed you earlier in the chart of accounts to enable me to provide better analysis when I'm looking at different financial reports. So let's go back to the chart of accounts, and I can now filter via those values. So if I click on my account option and set a dimension filter, I'm going to look specifically at those where the area dimension is detailed as 40. And I can see that those values have now changed, just reflecting the transactions that fall within the date range and within area 40. I could drill into these numbers. So again, if I click on these, I can see all of the various different transactions that make that number up. Again, I can drill in and see all of the GL impact transactions that are related to this document. And if I want, I can even drill to the original posted sales invoice transaction on the system. So I can filter my chart of accounts in that way, but I may still want to see further analysis. And for that, what I build are analysis views. So within my analysis views, I've got two set up here, a general ledger view and a revenue view. I'm just going to focus on the revenue view here. Here I've said that when I'm looking at revenue, I want to be able to analyze it using dimension code 1 area, dimension code 2 department, and dimension code 3 customer group. I can include a fourth dimension if I want to in these analysis views. When I click on that button, I then can set up how I want to view that information. So I'm going to show my lines as area and my columns as customer group. I'm going to remove my date range because I've not got lots of data in the demo account. And I'm going to see that as a matrix. And here I can see now not only the transactions area, I can also see how there's a split over my customer groupings as well. So that gives you a bit of a view in terms of the chart of account and the dimensions and how I can use those for better analysis views within there. They're very easy to set up. The one last thing that I'll show you really is that GL account card. You can see here all of the various different characteristics that I have beside them, and all within here any general posting defaults that I want. You can use those if when you are posting directly to the ledger, if those settings are always going to be the same every time, I can set those up that they are automatically completed and filled in to save you some time on data input. There's obviously plenty more that we could show, but Adam will talk to you about how you can get in touch with us to find out more about Business Central and the trends. But that's your overview there. I will pass over now to Mark, who's going to talk about NetSuite.
Thank you, Gary. So can you all see the NetSuite screen now? Okay, so we're going to start with reporting sort of element, and then we'll sort of show you how that report was created by how we've structured the chart of accounts. So we're in here looking at a profit and loss report, and we can see the consolidated view across the whole group of companies that we've got set up in NetSuite. So here I've got a parent company, Ireland, the Netherlands and the UK, and an elimination company for when we're doing that consolidation. So here we're looking at the whole group, the total amounts between this date range. Like Gary, my dates are a bit weird, so forgive me that. And we look at the total in the columns here. We can also filter this report down to just show our P&L by any one of these segments: class, department, location, or just for a particular customer or project, or even items. So there's some really good sort of filtering in this report as well. You can push them out to Excel and have them email and these things as well, obviously. So so what we're going to do is just, rather than the columns showing as total, we'll change it to look at subsidiaries. So if I just refresh that, so in real time, so it goes off, interrogates the general ledger, comes back and shows us each company, each subsidiary in a P&L. In each column, so Ireland, Netherlands, there's our parent, there's own postings, the UK, and then the totals of the consolidated view across the whole group. It's reported in pounds because we've asked for a consolidated view. But obviously the Netherlands and Ireland are stored in euros, and we're just doing that currency conversion. I'll talk a bit about that when we look at some of the chart of accounts. We can also show the columns by one of these different dimensions I've been talking about. So in here we've got class, department and location. There's three standard ones, but you can have additional ones for revenue stream or whatever you want to create over and above that in terms of adding additional segments in. So I'm just going to use location, again refresh my P&L, and we'll see the columns will change to show our P&L broken down by location. So Amsterdam, Cork, Dublin, Leeds, London, whatever. The hierarchy in the accounts is respected through these reports as well. So, but like with Gary's with totals and subtotals, it kind of works in a similar way. The sales is then broken down between revenue, shipping, handling, and expenses, overheads, admin expenses, facility related, and so on and so on. Just depending on how you build that hierarchy out. So I filter this now to just look at, say, UK. So I'm still going to keep my columns as location, change it to UK. You'll see some of these locations will drop off because they're obviously locations that aren't in the UK. They've been assigned to that particular subsidiary and you know, you only post to them if you're working from customers or suppliers in that subsidiary. So that's just shown that way around. We could then say change this to show departments, say. Again, I'm only looking at UK. So actually using these additional segments just to slice and dice your data, so you can see the P&L by departments. What's the marketing? Yeah, how much money has the marketing department made us, Adam? We could then obviously change this to say, let's look at it for the Irish view. And that will now just switch to that company essentially and just run that same report, but just looking at Ireland. So I think switching to euros, if you'd imagine. And now we're looking at the departments that are set up against the Irish subsidiary. Just going to switch back to UK. Now, these aren't just reports, they are sort of usable screens. You can drill down to the detail beneath. So if I come into this 20 million revenue against the sales department here, we can see all the journals and invoices and the actual transactions that make up this value. And another click into that, I can get down to the actual invoice. So sort of 2 clicks from a consolidated view of the whole group, we can be down looking at a particular invoice for something we sold. We sold a laptop, you know, a gaming laptop to this person. So click and drill through is common throughout. So that's the sort of the P&L report. So how does that all get set up? So just to take you across sort of behind the scenes a little bit. So in the setup manager here, we've got these different classifications. So we'll start with subsidiary. There's our different subsidiaries that I was talking about, and our elimination subsidiary when we're doing the consolidations. If I come down to departments, there's a list of the departments, and the indentation shows us how the hierarchy's been built out. I'll just pop open the QA department. It's a child of the engineering departments. There's our hierarchy, and in this one we said use it for the parent company and include all the children. So we're actually going to use this for all subsidiaries, but you could just filter down to individual ones in there if you wanted to. So departments, locations, similar thing, and classes. There's your 3 standards, and these can be renamed if you want them to. If you want to call them cost center or whatever it is, you can rename them. That's fine. So behind that as well. So if we just have a quick look at a journal here. So because in addition to this department, class, location, we've also got this name, which is essentially customer or project. So it's interesting that you can journal and tag in a customer or a project as well, and use that as another essentially segment in your reporting through the general ledger. In addition to that, we've got custom segments similar to the dimensions that Gary showed. Here we've just got the one that's revenue stream over and above those. You know, there's the sort of standard segments that you get, and these are really clever. You can do all sorts of things with these. Again, they can be filtered by class, department, location, so you can sort of tie things together. They can have a GL impact or not. Maybe, you know, they're just reporting codes that aren't actually being posted. But, you know, in this example, that would be probably turned on. So here we've got, you know, it's revenue streams that occur in new product. Maybe we've got, I don't know, upsell as an additional option for this segment. And then you can sort of say, well, where do they get used? So this one could only be used on sales transactions, could be used on sales and purchase, could be used on things coming through the web store, or maybe it's just around depreciation, or, you know, so you get a lot of control over how these are used. At header level or column level, so down at line level, you get that same level of control. And maybe it's just something you want on timesheet entry, or something on expenses. And then where are we going to set the defaults for these fields? Where are we going to source the entries from? As I said earlier, the automation of picking the right code when you're posting is important, because there'll be too many codes, it becomes difficult to do the postings, right? So we can source them from different entities within the system set up on the customer, for example. Or, you know, maybe it's something inside the CRM solution that's coming from, or against items, obviously, the different types of items. So lots of control over how these custom segments are sort of used. So the last thing I just want to show you is obviously the chart of accounts, is what we're here to talk about. So there's our chart. If I just pop open the bank account, so I guess similar to in Business Central, they have a type, you know, bank, you know, asset, liability, and the sort of, you know, the detail beneath that, really, as you'd expect. What currency are they in, and so on. I'm just going to open up our bank account and just talk through the sort of chart of account screen, essentially. So it's got a number, which you'd hope. It's got a name. It's got a sub account of banks that's building the hierarchy. It's type. In this example, is bank. What currency is it in? This is an interesting one. The general rate type. So this is about how do we do the consolidation across the group, and when there's multi-currency transactions, or the base currency of that subsidiary is different to the parent company. So are we going to take an average exchange rate across that period? Are we going to use the current, because NetSuite has a live feed of exchange rates in? Or are we going to take the historical rate, which is actually looking at transaction level, what was the rate on that transaction, and use that when we're doing that consolidation? So a lot of control over how that consolidation works. And then you can restrict these to a particular department class location, and also assign them to a subsidiary. So you could have one chart across all companies, or you could tweak that chart of account for different companies as you need to, and only allow that account to be used for that particular subsidiary. So that's a quick overview, really, or as deep as we can go in half an hour into NetSuite chart of accounts.
Thanks, Mark. I'm going to grab the screen back.
Okay.
So Mark's on the Oracle side now. So just to wrap up then, really, how to get started with your migration. So beginning your migration journey with Nolan. So as we've said, we're the UK's only partner for both systems, which, what does it mean? It means we can give you that impartial look at the two most popular systems. We know Dynamics GP. We know how to migrate you successfully from GP to the cloud, as well as other on-premise and legacy systems. Majority of you on the call Dynamics GP, but we've got history with a range of systems going to the cloud. We can save you some time by having to deal with multiple partners for both systems. We can give that impartial look and help streamline the process for you. And in terms of our teams, we've got a large team of qualified accountants and developers, as well as a dedicated project management team, all there to ensure a successful implementation for you going to the cloud. And finally, Jason's just going to cover making things easy for you.
Thanks, Adam. Yeah, just to really finalise, we want to make this as easy as possible. So in that decision phase, we will offer 2 days free consultancy, which includes systems recommendations, software demo, and estimates to help you make that decision. But also, we discount the software licenses there's up to 40% discounts. And we'd also, lots of you have our existing GP products, and we would look to trade in those offer to have similar products or our products within either NetSuite or Business Central. Now, on top of that, if anyone is ready to complete this project start or sign up to a project by the 31st of March, we'll offer an additional 2 days of free consultancy that are part of that project. So hopefully we can show you that there's some value in there from us as well. So thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, so if you sign the migration project by 31st of March, those 2 days free consultancy. So that's it from us for today. We've done what we can in half an hour. There's a lot more to go into in all sorts of areas of the system. We're gonna be running these monthly webinars. This is the first of a series, and we'll be releasing a schedule for what's to come in the new year. Thank you very much for joining. We've run over slightly, and we'll amend that on our timings next time, but we hope you have a great rest of your day, and look forward to speaking with you. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.